Hi, my name is Latrice, and I have a very bad addiction to planners, journals, and notebooks. So, tonight, what I want to talk about is something that's kind of building upon what I talked about yesterday, which is planning. So, yesterday I talked about perfectionism, where in the last video I talked about perfectionism and how I felt like I was using that as an excuse because what I really wanted to do was stay safe and not be visible. So I went from deciding that I was going to stop trying to be perfect right into doing a ridiculous amount of planning, an unnecessary amount of planning, which essentially was me trying to slide right back into perfectionism. So I kept planning. I kept hoarding information because it wasn't that I wasn't ready, because I always felt ready, but it was that I wanted to be safe and I wanted to have control. When you can plan versus execute, it feels more safe. You don't have to worry about being seen, being visible, or none of that. And it feels safe. But once you go from planning to execution, you no longer have that safety. You no longer have that control, because now you have a risk of people really seeing you and judging you, judging your work, judging what you say, judging everything about you. And so I decided that I would rather execute, be my authentic self, and then whoever is for me will gravitate towards me, and who's not will fall away. And it's just as simple as that. I was doing so much planning to the point where it actually felt more fun. And every thought of having to execute everything that I had planned literally felt like it was draining the life out of me, because of my fear of being visible, my fear of being seen, my fear of being judged. So I put that down, because planning to start planning to do versus just doing and being, it gets exhausting at a certain point. And like I said in the last video, you never allow yourself the chance to know what all you are capable of if you don't execute all the things that you have planned. You never allow yourself to see how good it can get if you execute versus you continuing to stay in a mode of planning. And I had to ask myself, why am I so comfortable with cheating myself out of seeing the fruit of my planning, my dreams, my vision, my goals? Why am I so comfortable with cheating myself out of that? Why am I so comfortable with not giving myself a fair chance to see how great it could get? And I had to put that down. And I didn't put it down just because it's a new year. I don't do the new year, new me type stuff. I don't do that. Even though I understand why people do it and why I do it, it's a psychology to it. A new fresh start is motivating. But I actually started putting this down last month because something has to change. I got to do things differently. Me staying stuck in planning mode is not giving me the returns that I know that I can get. That's in the execution. And the reason I was going to talk about something else different tonight, but the reason why I felt compelled to come back to this is because we're still in the first week of the new year. And I really just want to encourage someone else who may see themselves in this pattern that I repeated for many years myself, to encourage them to just keep going, to use this fresh start, if that's what it takes, to go from planning to execution, to allow yourself to see how great it can get, to allow your gifts to make room for you, to use it all, to give it all you got. We don't know who we can help by serving with our gifts. We don't even know how we can fully help ourselves by serving ourselves with our gift. If other people ain't the motivation, then at least let yourself be the motivation. Don't you want to see how great you could be for yourself? And I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one who gets stuck in that planning mode. I know I'm not. Because especially, I know there's a lot of millennials. I'm a millennial. Well, I had plenty of opportunities to be in the gifted program, but that's another story for another day. But I know a lot of millennials who are very smart, who are probably in gifted programs in school. I know particularly women. I know a lot of us be stuck in that planning mode because we have this need to be perfect. A need to have the control. A need to be safe. And that's because we care deeply about our work. And I've been hearing a lot from different people over the internet that planning is the new procrastination. Yes, sometimes planning can be the new procrastination, but sometimes being stuck in the planning mode can also be our need for control, our need to be safe, not just procrastination, not just laziness. So I felt the need to come back to this topic because I just want whoever it is out there to know that I see you and you are capable and you can do this. I'm doing it. Join me on a journey. 2026 is the year. I really feel that in every fiber of my being. 2026 is the year. 2026 and beyond, if you want it to be. So if you're stuck in that planning mode, just come out of it and execute. Just do. And execute with conviction. Execute like you know you're going to see a return. You're going to see that fruit from the seed that you plant by moving. And I think that's where I'm going to end this. I see you. You can do it. This year, it's time to execute. You don't need to plan perfectly, nothing else. You need to execute and fine tune as you go. Because we're going to keep fine tuning until the tune is fine, maybe. You hear me? 2026. Execution. Plan when it's absolutely necessary, but other than that, the clarity is in the doing. The insight is in the doing. And you can't get that insight for how to fine tune if you don't do the doing. So, again, I'm looking forward to see everything that everyone who's executing this year is going to achieve. And all right, I'll see you all tomorrow to talk about more patterns that I've noticed about myself, in the hopes that you can see too, and we can move forward out of that cycle.